All right, so I'm back at it with P Valley playing in the background. Mercedes just got tossed up out of her situationship. So I'm adding a little more volume to the head, the top of the head on this sister. Probably way too much. Yeah, way too much. But again, just fixing it, as you go along, as you go along. And oh, I just realized this didn't save. Yeah, this didn't save a change I had made. So the change I had made in the other video, I was showing you not to build lips on top of, like the flat side like that. So I just used the flatten tool to get rid of that, to show you that in the other video, if you got a chance to see that, I used the move tool to just pull forth the area of the mouth. I need to make the brush a little bigger. So I'm pulling forth that area of the mouth that comes up right up under our nose. I know it looks wonky right now, but trust me, it'll get better. So right now I'm just pulling out area for the lips. Again, it's going to look crazy for a while because you got to keep coming in and, readjusting and removing. Unless you're going for, like a really abstract or exaggerated stylized look, which I'm a fan of that too. It's in art in general, definitely in sculpting. So when you see things aren't measuring up the way you want to, you just click and pull lightly until you get a better semblance of what you want. I know that I want her to have a little more jaw area. Again, getting wonky, but I'll fix it as it goes along. Making the brush a little bigger because I want to pull those sides out. Again, I still have symmetry on because what's going on the left, I definitely want to make sure it goes on the right. So right now, making the brush smaller to pull in the nostrils area a little more. The plane I created for her nose, that's going to have to be fixed up. But I want to start establishing that cheek area a bit. So I'm just tapping and pulling from here. If you wanted the cheekbones to look particularly defined, you can always tap inward with the move tool, give it sort of that Grace Jones fire. I'm reducing the brush now because I just want to pull down little parts at a time to make that area that's concaved in directly underneath the nose. And you'll have to forgive me. I don't know or have forgotten a lot of the technical terms for anatomy and features. So there's a name for that indentation. I just don't remember what the hell it is right now. All right, so I'm using my finger to smooth out. You can see a semblance of the lip area coming together bit by bit. I messed that up. That's okay. Again, everything can be fixed. You can double tap to undo or hit the arrow in the bottom left, however you like to fix your things. Whatever tools work best for you. I like to use flatten a lot when I've screwed up, and smooth to, just, I don't know, just edit, basically, in general. So here I'm making the brush a little bit bigger, pulling that bottom lip out a little bit more, tucking under the chin. I'm sorry, tucking to make more of a chin area. See how I'm pulling that bottom part out right there? And again, just sort of tapping through to make sure that damn it, almost gave her a goiter. Yes, like I said, you're turning around, you're looking, you're keeping your eye peeled for indentations that you didn't intend to create, like there. Pulling that out a little bit more from where I indented it too much in an effort just a few seconds ago to show you about making the cheekbones more prominent. Now, you don't have to just, resign yourself to the move tool at all. You can start getting in there with your clay brush and really going crazy on some of the different styles you want to achieve and or experiment with. That little area on her bottom lip is bugging me, so I'm dropping the brush down a little bit and just going to go in with the flatten tool to in an arc sort of motion. And I think I have smooth set up a little bit too high, so I just clicked on that tool and I'm dropping the intensity down some, going back to the move tool, making my brush a little smaller and pulling that area that I just pushed back in right back out. And that's what it is. A lot of the sculpting is just going over the things you've done and realizing, like, yo, I really didn't want that to be that extreme. And the beautiful thing is it has a shitload of memory in Nomad Sculpt. So you're able to undo, I don't know the actual setting, but there's a large allowance for undo. So you can make a whole lot of moves and realize 50 moves later, I really want to go back to what I had 50 moves ago. And chances are it's going to be there for you. So I think that's pretty dope because the limitations aren't there, and it allows you not to get nervous about screwing something up because the program hasn't set it up so that there's enough memory for you to go back. You know what I'm saying? Her eyes look a little heavy for me, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm just going to keep going through. Zooming in a little bit. I opened up multi-resolution right now just because I want to take the slider up one and see what it looks like in a higher resolution. Higher resolution, I guess, is the same as, with pixels in Photoshop. The difference between 15 squares holding color and 1500 squares holding color is going to be a huge difference. And it's the same thing with the squares that make up the wire that wrap around your subject. So multi-resolution enables you to slide the slider down, see what it's looking like in a multi-resolution. I can slide it down even further, and you see how pixelated it is. I'm turning on the wire. You see how wide the squares are on her mouth. But what this enables you to do is work on the areas that don't require a lot of detail without working at such a high resolution. So like the neck, that doesn't require a lot of detail. It just requires, a little bit of sculpting, pulling, moving, but it's nothing too extreme that's being done. So you can keep it on a low resolution for things like that. Let me take the wire off. You can keep it on a low resolution for things like, sculpting the larger part of the head, and that's going to work out for you just fine. But when you get to the areas like this, the nose and the mouth, I really want to see that at the resolution that I took it up to, which went from, I think, 35K when I started working on the first video to now like 574K, big difference. Using the crease tool, just going to go ahead. I'm sorry, I got distracted. My cat has this thing he does where every time he goes out on the patio, he starts crying or calling out. There's another cat I've seen walking around this bad boy, so I think he's sort of calling to his friend. I don't know. So there I smoothed out a little bit, which causes me to have to go right back in with the crease. I'm going to do a little bit of work around her nose, pulling those nostrils out more. I told you I love our African features. I love broad noses, flat noses, smash noses, bell pepper noses, whatever you want to call it. As long as it's looking like us, I'm a happy camper. So that's the nose. I usually not everyone does this, but I like to put a crease on that nostril. It just, like I said, I get bored with the lack of detail, and that's part of my problem, probably likely why I'm not farther along sculpting than I should be, is because I'm impatient. Now, I just turned it to the left, and you can see that in doing that nostril, I affected the shape of that nose a little bit. So I'm hitting the move tool and just pulling it back to what it was. Now I'm using my perspective cube to turn it right now. So I'm going to turn it around and look at it from the right and see how it reads from there. I think I want this bridge up a little bit more. Forehead out a little bit. I'm going to have to do something with that. So I'm using the flatten tool just to calm that down a wee bit. Oh, no, that's not right. I'm going to double tap and take that away because I don't like what happened there at all. And that is why in Nomad, you're constantly turning and spinning and moving to make sure the one thing that you did that affected one area nicely hasn't totally destroyed another area. So I fixed that. I'm happier with that nose looking like that. That sort of looks like a sister to me. I feel like this area can be brought forward a little bit more. Might be making a mistake on that, but I'll figure it out as I go. I feel like this lip can be maneuvered a little, so did something on that. And, for the most part, when you're a novice at 3D sculpting like I am, I feel that you shouldn't worry about the features as much because until you really know this program and really know, unless you're just strong in anatomy and facial features, period, almost intuitively, I find that most of the time these people end up looking like they want to look like, not what I intended, because either I missed the mark and did something that altered the facial features so much that it's just like, okay, well, damn, I guess I'll just go with this. And sometimes just going with this is fine. Like, it works out okay. Here I'm picking the clay tool and subtracting because I want to make that impression between the tip of the nose and the lip. And anybody can feel free to tell me what that's called. I want to call it a divot, and I know that's wrong. I know it is. But in my mind, that's what I call it to get through. So we have that little thing right there. So again, you'll see right now I'm holding my finger on the screen and it drops the multi-resolution. I think that's for the program's benefit so that it won't take as long to carry out commands. But when I remove my finger, it takes it back up to the resolution I had, which I'm showing you again. There's the multi-resolution at its highest point. There's the middle point. You see the change on the lips. And there's the lowest point. So I'm taking it back up to the highest point because I just have a thing about working with smoothness. So that's going to be it for this video. And we'll build on this sister a little more for the next one. Hope you enjoyed it.